Have you been asked to be a bridesmaid or maid of honour? Here's what you might expect to do as part of that role.
Hi, welcome back to Bride Society. I'm Rebecca, this is Laura, and so today we are talking about Maid of Honour and bridesmaids' duties. So if you have recently been asked to do the honours, you may be wondering, okay, what exactly is involved? What are you getting yourself into? What's expected? And so you don't accidentally forget to do something you were supposed to do. So today's video is mostly targeted towards UK, US bridesmaids, maids of honours, just because that's where our main viewership is from, and covering off what maybe some of your more traditional, typical roles and duties might be. But obviously in between those two, there's still actually some differences, but we'll highlight those as we go through. And we have actually, as I grouped up bridesmaid and maid of honour duties in today's video because obviously there is a lot of overlap between those two roles, but where other ones, maid of honour roles, stands out a little bit here and there, we will highlight that for you as we go.
One top tip that we just wanted to mention before we get into all the duties is obviously when you're asked to take on a role like a bridesmaid or maid of honour, it's a huge honour, it's someone you're going to be very close to, but just be very upfront.
It's literally an honour.
Well, yes.
Maid of honour.
Discuss the expectations right at the start, just so both you and the bride are on the same page with kind of what you feel you're able to take on, what they're expecting of you, how involved everybody's going to be, just so everyone knows very clearly and there's no surprises later on in the planning process.
Yeah, or disappointments.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so wedding planning assistance. This is obviously quite a big statement, but yeah, this might be things like helping source suppliers, booking appointments maybe, but again, all kind of directed by the bride. So just going, she might designate you certain tasks like, oh, could you look at chair covers for me, for example, and then you might say source those kind of things. It might be a lot of hands-on DIYing, crafting, maybe meet up together and have a glass of whatever into the evening while you make 1,000,001 favours or whatever it is.
So it can be fun, like that can be a fun activity. It's
the whole thing can be fun.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
It's not kind of...
We say duties, like...
Yeah, it's a
you're
time
obliged, but...
to spend time with each other. If you're happy to do those kind of things, you'll know each other well enough to know where skill sets lie, and if you're the kind of person that you just don't want going anywhere near a hot glue gun, then that's fine. But
Yes. So get together, brainstorm ideas, give your input if it's asked for. You might be just addressing envelopes, stuffing invitations in envelopes, this kind of thing. Very hands-on. Okay, it can be group activities, that kind of thing. But yeah, bridesmaid or maid of honour.
Wedding dress shopping. So you might be invited along to go and help pick out the dream dress. So that could even go as far back as you might be asked to maybe book some appointments, scope out some boutiques, if that's the route the bride's going down, and making the appointment so you can just all turn up on the day and she's ready to go and try on some outfits.
Yes, and offer your opinions.
Yeah. Only nice ones. Constructive opinions.
Yes, well, honest if that's the relationship you have, but but keep it,
Yeah, don't be mean.
Yeah. There's nice ways to say it.
Yeah.
And as well, maybe even possibly attend fittings. Maybe not the whole group of bridesmaids for this. There's maybe more just the maid of honour at this stage for that kind of level of attendance, to help with fittings, just to make sure everything looks perfect. And as well, it's often useful for you to attend that, because especially if like the fastenings on the dress are tricky and that kind of thing, sometimes the dressmaker will want to show the person who will be helping the bride into the dress exactly how to kind of like do it up and tie it up.
And if there's a bustle as well for the evening, how to do that ready for dancing.
Yeah, I don't quite know what
Yeah,
that was, but
that's a technique.
So then will also come the organising of the bridal shower, bachelorette / hen party. This is where one of the points where it varies a little bit depending whether you're a UK or a US viewer. Here in the UK we don't have bridal showers, so if you are a UK viewer, please don't panic. You've not suddenly got something you've never even heard of to plan. But yes, the planning, organising, maybe creation of games or booking of like where you're going, the accommodation, the whole shebang is your domain. But do still discuss that in that initial early conversation with your bride, because it might be that she wants to do it and just wants you to do a little bit here and there for it. But traditionally, it would be the Maid of Honour and the bridesmaids that take on this role, but the Maid of Honour would be is effectively the head bridesmaid, right? So you would need to help with the coordination of the rest of the bridesmaids to achieve the end goal here.
You're moderating the WhatsApp group. That hen party, bachelorette WhatsApp group that is, could be fun.
Every role has its challenge.
Yeah. And then we come to the wedding day itself, and you will probably be there on the wedding morning helping the bride get ready, but also you'll be getting ready alongside. You might be getting your hair and makeup done. You're helping the bride get dressed, making sure simple things like, has she had breakfast? Have you had breakfast? But has she had something to eat before going to get married? Or lunch if it's a later on in the day wedding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So does she have everything she needs? Has she got a copy of her vows if she's doing her own vows? Has she, like all these little things? Does she have the rings? Who has the ring? Like just just asking, have you got everything you need? Like, do you need me to run off and get something? Do you need some tissues? Do you need some hay fever tablets? Like just being super attentive to all those little needs and being ready for all sort of minor emergencies. So you're the one there with like the little sewing kit in your back pocket, the little stain remover pen ready to go, safety pins in case something on the dress pops before you need to go down the aisle, right? You need to come prepared to save the day.
But also just being a calming influence, it can be an enjoyable experience getting ready. It was one of my favourite parts of the day, if I can say that, apart from obviously being married. But
I was a bridesmaid.
Just being there, being calm, being there for anything she might need. She's in charge, and you're just happy to keep topping up that glass for her of something probably non-alcoholic earlier on. She can have the alcoholic drinks later if she wants.
I don't know, I'm just thinking, so I was a Maid of Honour like a few weeks ago, and I literally brought the Prosecco and I made mimosa as well. I did also feed her to make sure that it was
get the balance right.
Yes. Yeah. And I like to feel I excelled at the keeping calm thing. In a past life I was a therapist, so excelling at the Maid of Honour duties over here at the keeping calm thing. Yeah.
So if you want a Maid of Honour,
available for hire. Sure. Alright, so now you're ready for the ceremony. Obviously one of your roles is that you'll be processing into the ceremony. Slight differences whether you're UK or US. Traditionally, you can kind of do it however you want. I think churches are more strict generally, but it doesn't really matter. So in the US, the bridesmaids usually process in first, and then the bride. The UK we do it the other way around typically, but we did it the US way at your wedding, so
I always think the bride should be the main event.
Yeah, so you want the build up. Yeah, so everyone can appreciate. Like you still got all dressed up and picked out the dress and appreciate the bridesmaids, and then the main show. Yeah. I don't get why we do it though.
But just however you want. But you probably walk down the aisle at some point in front or behind the bride. Yes,
and of course before she comes in, while you stood outside before, whether it's you going in or her going in first, just making sure that her veil, if she's wearing one, is all set out smoothly. Her dress is great. Her hair's, not got wafted in the wind as she's walking in. That she's set and ready to go.
Once you've reached the end of the aisle, if you're in the US, it seems to be typical that you would stand kind of at the front alongside the couple throughout the ceremony. In the UK, I mean, you sat down, didn't you?
Yeah, we get to sit. We get to put our feet up for a bit.
And if you are probably the maid of honour, or if a bridesmaid, if there isn't a maid of honour, the bride will probably hand you the bouquet to look after during the ceremony. The bride doesn't keep a bouquet if she's got one.
She's got to deal with rings and everything and bows. So she hands it to you, and then yeah. And of course, be ready with things like being ready to hand her a tissue if it becomes necessary. Things you're basically just there like a wing woman the entire day, just to kind of be anticipating every little need, want at a moment's notice.
So the ceremony's happened, couple's married, but your duties potentially don't end there. You want to be on standby pretty much the whole time. Depending on the type of dress, you might be required for bathroom breaks, just to help manoeuvre things. Help with the bin bag trick if you've got a big dress. So yes, this is where you get very close, even closer than you were to your bride.
It can be a bonding experience. Yeah. And of course, they're ready for hair and makeup touches, because probably if you no likelihood you probably had a supplier come out to do it professionally in the morning and getting ready, but it's unusual that they're there later in the day. Sometimes people hire them to kind of come and sit in the ladies' washroom and do it, but if budget doesn't allow for that extravagance, it might fall to you as the bridesmaids and maid of honour just to be there to help keep things looking perfect from start to finish, because those cameras keep clicking.
Yeah, and you probably will have a few of the bride's belongings. She won't be carrying a bag. There's no room for that going down the aisle. Her dress may have pockets, but she might not want to keep things in there. So yes, you might have things like lipstick in your bag ready to go to do those touch-ups, or a phone if she wants to check it, things like that. So you might be in charge of just keeping hold of a few things that she might need throughout the day. Yes,
that's true. Yes, I was walking down the aisle with my bouquet and the vows and her phone, and so all hidden behind my bouquet as I went down. Oh dear. Yes, and of course keeping her hydrated throughout the day and making sure that she's eaten, because inevitably quite often during the wedding breakfast or the meal if you're in the US, the tendency is to kind of get up and mingle with your guests and to talk to them and stuff, and you can forget to eat or eat much. Just keep an eye on her. Now, another difference, but I mean, if you're in the UK, you can totally do this too, but in the US, if asked, don't do this spontaneously. No. In the US, if you are maid of honour, you probably will be giving a speech, unless you're not forced to give one as well. You can say no, I'm sure, but... We'll leave that to you to know your bride.
Yeah, it is typical, in the UK, often father the bride, best man,
the groom,
and groom, if there's a groom. Maid of honour would be added to that list as the typical speeches. Generally.
Yeah, or both parents would speak together in the US. Yes. So essentially in the UK, women don't speak, which we'll catch up eventually, US, but but it is happening here and there. I gave a speech at my wedding.
So do whatever you want.
You do you, but traditionally just be prepared in the US. You're giving a speech. And finally for today, just generally being the emotional support to her from start to finish. So start of the planning process to the end of the wedding day, and maybe even beyond when it comes to organising thank you notes, or maybe even getting a hand in there and writing addresses again. Yes, emotional support, just there for assistance, advice, reassurance, keeping her calm, and just being her go-to.
So we hope that's been really useful. If you've got a wedding coming up, or if your bride has just popped the question to you for your bridesmaid or maid of honour duties, let us know in the comments below if there's anything you think we've missed. Give this video a like, don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.